Did you know that Blue Monday wasn't discovered by scientists in lab coats? It was actually made up by the marketing team of a travel company in the UK trying to sell holidays. Yep, in 2005, a company called Sky Travel employed a psychologist who came up with a pseudo-sciencey formula to figure out the saddest day of the year, factoring in debt, post-Christmas blues, and failed New Year's resolutions, and conveniently came up with the third Monday of January as a day that would be a great day to book a holiday and reframe your thinking, think about the sun and having a nice getaway. I think that's actually quite funny because it's gained a lot of traction since 2005, 20 years ago, and it's become this big thing. And I think some companies take it really seriously and make sure that there's mental health teams available, but it's just made up. It could be any day of the year. And honestly, I do think there is something there. While I am making fun of it, I do think there is something around this time of year where we have a think and reflect on our previous year and have we made any progress towards our goals and where we're moving. Also, having worked at Indeed, like a huge HR software company, I'm well aware of the fact that in January, like huge amounts of new roles are opened up and there's so much more kind of people applying. I think on Glassdoor they said there's 17% more applications in January than any other month of the year. But there's also a 75% increase over the average of the amount of roles that have been posted too. So like people, new budgets have been opened for the year, managers are thinking about hiring, they're planning for this year's growth and success. So I think people do start to think about their roles and what they're doing. And as a coach, having coached loads of people and having led teams with lots of people on them, I know that just from working with them, that there's often a deep sense of kind of malaise or discontent or wanting to move forward. Like, I think as humans, we're all set to grow and move in like a certain direction, you know, and when we're not getting there, it can feel like we're discontent and that we're not happy. And from being a coach, I understand that this is when people aren't aligned with their values. I know personally that I've been in jobs and in roles where I was asked to do things that felt uncomfortable and didn't feel like they matched up with who I was as a person or who I wanted to be as a leader. And I'm no longer working in those places because in some instances, it just didn't feel right. It wasn't the right thing for me. It wasn't the right fit. And I just want to encourage you to take some time out to make sure that your goals and your direction are lined up with who you are as a person, what your deep values are, and how you want to move forward. I just want to give you a couple of simple tools that you can use to start to think about that. Personally, I love journaling. I wake up every morning and pull out my journal and write for 15 to 30 minutes. And often it's just kind of just off the cuff, kind of stream of consciousness stuff. But sometimes it's unpacking the things that I might have been lying awake at night processing, or new ideas that have come up. But it definitely connects me with who I am. It slows my brain down. It gets me away from scrolling on my phone and starting to think about who I am, what's important, and how I'm moving forward. So I'd encourage you to try some journaling. It doesn't need to be a fancy book and a fancy pen. Just, you know, any old notebook that you've got lying around is a great place to start. Don't wait for Amazon to have to deliver you a new moleskin for you to get going. Another thing that I've used a few times, and I've definitely encouraged some of the people that I coach to try, is a gratitude practice. And I know that might sound a bit wishy-washy, but genuinely, when we take time to write down 3 to 5 things every day that we're grateful for, it can get us away from feeling, oh, I haven't achieved X, Y, and Z. I haven't gotten to this point where I thought I'd be. And it gets us to a place where we can reflect and go, I'm so happy to have this house, this roof over my head. I've got 2 delightful kids who are growing and, you know, becoming amazing human beings. And I've also got 2 wonderful dogs who get me out every day to bring them for a walk. So try that once a day. It doesn't have to take long. You can put it in the notes on your phone, or you can just journal it down in bullet points. It's really a simple process. And speaking of getting the dogs out, for a walk, getting out into nature. It's a great way to feel grounded and connected. Personally, I'd advise you to leave your phone at home. Unless you're going to take photos of the amazing sunset, crashing waves, beautiful trees, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. But I just think that between, excuse me, just between nature and actually moving your body, I feel like you'll connect deeper with who you are and what's important. And if you can bring a loved one or a friend along and just talk openly about where you're at and what your goals are and where you want to get to. It's really simple. There's 3 simple things you can try this January. I hope they help. I'd love to know if any of them work or if there's other things that you find helpful. Put them in the comments. But if you want to find out more about how we can work together, there's also a link in the description as well. I'd love to help you get deeper involved in what are your values, how are you going to move forward, and I'd love to hear what your creative dream for 2025 is. Okay, until the next video. See you soon.